Hey everybody, welcome to B-Top Live. I'm your host, Josh Nichols, and I'm glad to be back here for another week, another day of playing baseball. Woke up this morning sucking down air, so that means I get to play more baseball if I want to, which of course I want to. I have a really great guest tonight. Those of you guys that have been part of the B-Top Legends group for any brief period of time probably know who Eddie LaMarr is. He is a very active member of our group, but from what I know about our group membership, he's definitely up there with being one of the most tenured and experienced person in the realm of baseball. I mean, he has played this game his entire life. He is in his mid-60s now. He has played it, he has coached it, he still gives instructions. He even was part of the batting practice, pitching, team, squad, whatever they call it, for the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. He has thrown BP for both those organizations. He has coached on the collegiate level, he has done private instruction, and he still pitches on his respective amateur team in Long Island, New York, or in the New York City area. And so I'm going to bring him on and let him tell us all about that. Hey,
there we go.
There he was. Glad to have you on here today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been a guest on B-Top, but you watch pretty regularly. I really appreciate
I
that.
do. It's every Sunday night routine.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I apologize for the nights that Facebook isn't cooperating with us. So tell us about this whole Madonna League of Their Own fuck up situation.
Well, being that I was fortunate enough to coach at St. John's University, it's not only a Northeast powerhouse in baseball, it's got a national powerhouse as well. But our coaches go way back and are very connected and influential in college baseball. There's an organization called the ABCA, the American Baseball Coaches Association, and every year in January, there's about 1,500 coaches that show up, and also the public is allowed to attend if they want. And so we're high school coaches, and there's a Coaches Hall of Fame. There's an awards dinner every year. They induct a couple coaches. Well, the guy that I worked for, his name was Joe Russo. He's in the Coaches Hall of Fame. His assistant first base coach was a guy named Don Landolfi. He's in the Coaches Hall of Fame. And Joe's boss, the athletic director, and Joe's head coach when Joe was a student at St. John's, a guy named Jack Kaiser. And Mr. Kaiser's still alive. He's about 93 years old, 94 years old. And he's in the Coaches Hall of Fame. There's a lot of things named after him and stuff like that. So he's a legend in college baseball, going back to the 1940s. He was very good friends with the USC Trojans head coach, Rod Dado. And we had a lot of perks, a lot of things that we could do at St. John's. You're invited here, you're invited there, and big league connections and things like that. And Jack Kaiser gets the athletic director, Mr. Kaiser, gets a phone call from Rod Dado out in California saying that he's been hired as the technical director for this movie about women's baseball called The League of Their Own. And one of the things he has to do is pick actresses to be in the movie, and he can't be in two places at once. And there's thousands of actresses out in Hollywood and on the West Coast, and there's thousands of actresses and models and performers on the East Coast. So he asked if St. John's could do that. So we hosted a number of auditions or tryouts for baseball. The first one being Demi Moore. And it was a private one-on-one session with her in our auxiliary gym. It's kind of funny because that day I just picked up our new video camera, the old VCR, big heavy format, and a TV. So Coach Russo in that session says, "Ed, why don't you just hold the camera and get accustomed to how to use it." And he and Coach Landolfi worked with Demi Moore in catching. Part of the audition was they had to let her wear catcher's equipment. So I assume she was auditioning for the Geena Davis role. So it was like an hour with her, and then another, and then another, and then some of them are 2 people, 4 people, a dozen people. When the weather was good, we would go out on the outfield grass in the ballpark, and then most of the time it was in the gym. Then there was a Saturday where Coach Dato and all his Hollywood people came to New York, and we had an all-day session at St. John's. There was a morning session, about over 100. Then we broke for lunch and rest, and then there was an afternoon session. And then after that, all the coaches, and there had to be about 20 people there. We went to a restaurant and sat down and ate and compared scores on all the ratings. At that session, there was Brooke Shields, Uma Thurman, Elizabeth Shue,
Wow.
Kira Sedgwick, and her husband was the only guy that I recognized to see Kevin Bacon standing around with all the other fathers and agents and boyfriends waiting for them, and Joan Jett. And Joan Jett was by far the best baseball player of all of them, and
Wow.
then after that, the individual and the semi-private lessons continued. And then one day I get to school, and Russo tells me, he says, Ed, and this happens on a day, the day before final exams. It's a study day, so campus is closed. Kids are encouraged to stay home and study. But we had a road game at about like 3 o'clock or something. So the bus was arriving probably around noon or 1. And Russo told me, we don't even know who it's going to be. We're not allowed to know. It's a very high-profile celebrity, and we're not allowed to know who it is. And then minutes before she walks in, they said it's Madonna. And to tell you the truth, honestly, I knew Madonna was a singer. I knew that she was big pop star, but I really didn't know what she would look like or any of her music. And I pictured, she's a tall blonde, and she was a short, petite brunette. She came in that auxiliary gym where the batting cages are. The only people allowed in the gym were the 3 coaches, Russo, Landolfi, myself, her manager. Outside the door was a bodyguard. On the loading dock was her limo with her driver, and the loading dock was right next to the gym. So it started with her just playing catch, and I'm the one playing catch with her, and Russo and Landolfi are on each side of her, talking about, keep your elbow up and, extend out front and come over the top, and, everything they were telling her. And she was doing fine, like 5 minutes into it. Then all of a sudden, every ball's going over my head, left, right, bouncing, just horrible throws. And I had my pockets stuffed with balls just in case. And then they said to her, Madonna, what's the matter? You were doing a great job, and now you're wild. And she kind of shook her head, and she says, it's him. And she points at me. And I said, what did I do? And then Russo and Landolfi are kind of teasing her to try to loosen her up and, make her relax. And, who's this guy that Coach LaMarr reminds you of? Is it your boyfriend or something? And she says, no, it's just some fuck up. So we finished playing catch, fielded some ground balls, other stuff we did. And then she's going to go into the batting tunnel to hit. So they're giving her some helmets, and as I'm going to go in and throw the BP. And I said to her, hey, Madonna, get one that fits really good, because the last batter that called me a fuck up hasn't gotten out of hospital yet. And she went in and hit. So the players started arriving for our game, and they were peeking through windows anywhere they could, try to figure what the hell's going on here that's so top secret. They figured it out. So then I left her the first one. Russo and Landolfi stayed. I said goodbye to Madonna. Good luck. Hope you get the role. And I get my uniform on, get on the bus. I'm sitting in the front seat. And as Russo comes in, he flips me this ball, and I catch it. And the ball, I got it sitting here, it says, to Ed the fuck up, love Madonna.
That's awesome.
The part that's bad about it, though, and I was the only one that really thought about it, was that when the movie came out, there's a premiere in New York. Didn't even know that there was a premiere. The rest of the guys, and I said, we ought to be invited to that. Damn it, we put in a lot of time on this, and we weren't. And then when you watch the movie, and even last week I watched it on MLB Network, and they roll the credits. It doesn't have to say my name or Joe Russo's name or Landolfi or Jack Kaiser. It should have at least said St. John's University. You used our damn building 25 times, But I guess nobody
Yeah.
thought of that. It did mention Southern Cal and
Hmm.
Coach Dato, So
Yeah.
it's just like one of the little extra things that come with being part of St. John's and their
Yeah.
legacy and their
Well,
tradition.
what a cool experience though, and you obviously made an impact on her, or she wouldn't have give you that ball, you know.
We had fun.
Uh, so I don't know if everybody has the same question I have, which is, how did she hit?
From her ass, I knocked her down. No, uh, no, she wasn't as good a hitter as Joan Jett. Put it that way. Joan Jett crushed
Okay,
the ball,
right.
so
Man,
she made
that's really
contact.
cool. Do you get starstruck or anything like that ever?
No, not really. The other one I was asked to do was there was an actor. I forget what his name was. Kevin Kline was asked. He was still doing a movie where he had to throw out a first pitch as a president or something, and they sent him over to me to work on some throwing mechanics.
Oh yeah,
So
it's really cool. Well, I think that, like I said, not that your credibility needed to be established, but that was a new one for me. I mean, the many times you and I have visited, I never heard that particular story. But hey, man, thanks for being on tonight.
oh,
Let's continue
you're
talking about
welcome.
it.
My pleasure. I'll talk pitching all day.
Yeah, so we're going to talk some more soon. So, but you have a good night, and we'll talk later.
You too. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
So, guys, there you have it, the legendary Eddie LaMarr. Man, that I believe that he could talk pitching all day. I mean, he has got just a wealth of knowledge, particularly around pitching, but probably in baseball in general. You guys have a good night. See you next week.